Welcome to the LaunchPreneur experience. My name is Fernanda Furman, your host. And today we're going to be talking to Lillian Victoria. And we were chatting behind the scenes. And I want to say thank you so much, Lillian, for joining us and also for sharing, open up your heart and share your story with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me and putting this amazing event together and also sharing your heart too. It's very beautiful with what you're.
Oh, thank you. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the audience. And one of the things that I love about what she's going to be talking about, the title of her presentation is Becoming Yourself. When we are running events, one of the first things we think about it, numbers, logistic, where is it going to be? How many people do I need in there? What am I going to sell? And we forget the very, very beginning. What's important is who you are, and why you're doing what you're doing. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself and share with them what you do and a little bit about your presentation, why they should watch your presentation.
Yeah. So first of all, my name is Lillian Victoria. I'm an entertainment executive turned peak performance coach. Within my journey, what I do is I work with high performers who's experienced some kind of loss that's looking to rise back up. So that's what I do right now. And an elevator pitch of my story is I used to have this perfect resume life. Everything looked good on the outside, executive, high paying job, travel, business class, beautiful house, great marriage, until everything crumbled, right? I followed the strategy and I built the life that I thought at the time what was good for me, but I realized that wasn't what I wanted. That was what I thought based on what other people had told me, right? So within the session that I'm going to share with you is a process that I followed, right? For you to become yourself. There's so many amazing strategies out there. But the thing is, the inner work, the core is, who are you? What is your purpose? Why are you doing this? Right? And one question I love asking is, if today's your last day, who do you want to be remembered by? Is this the legacy that you're building for yourself? So for me, when I lost everything, I took one whole year. I didn't have a place to stay, couch surfing with my son and trying to figure that out. And there was a defining moment, a very defining moment for me to do the work I'm doing, but really make those changes and get results very quickly, right? We call that a quantum leap. I was at my friend's place and we literally was sleeping on a couch. My son looked at me because I was crying. I was like, I don't know what to do, right? And he's like, Mommy, is everything going to be okay? And by the way, he's 4 years old. So he was a toddler at the time. And I said, Mommy just fell. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to get back up. And that's where the desire came in. And that desire is what pushed me. It's made me start to look at, what do I want to do? Right? What I want to do, and I'm going to excel on that, because from all the studies that I've seen, when people are uber successful, they're doing something that they absolutely love and they know they have a purpose, and the money will come. We hear that a lot. The money will come once you do it, right? So the strategy is all here. The process I'm going to walk you through is your goals, your vision, who you are, your purpose, and to be able to step into that. And this is a perfect time because we're at the end of 2021. We're already at the end of 2021. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
So this is a great time to really look at, what you want in life. And as we get into 2022, it's a great way to just hit that reset button and apply all the strategies, that are presented in the seminar, which works for you as well. But we want to operate from the inside out and not the outside in, because I will tell you, I've done that before. And when I crumbled, I didn't have that foundation. And when I didn't have that foundation, I fall very hard. When you have a foundation, you could build and build and build and build, and it only gets taller and taller and taller. That's the difference.
Yeah, so true. And thank you so much for reminding us of that, because we get so tied up in so many other things. And in the process, sometimes we forget who we are, what we're doing this and who we're doing that for. So thank you so much. And I invite you guys to finish and watch her presentation. And Lillian gave us as you registered for this event, she gave us the free guide money mantras that you can use. And if you upgraded to the VIP experience, you're also going to get her paid digital course. That's called You Are Rich digital course that it's worth $5.95. So I would say, it's so worth to think about who you are first, and then think about the other things and what's going to come in place. And Lillian, thank you so much for joining us. And I would love for you to share with the audience, what is the thing that you want them to do in the group?
Oh, I want you guys to engage, and I want you guys to ask questions. We have an amazing group of panel here. And if you have any questions, you could DM us as well, because we want you to walk away empowered. I know I do.
Yes, absolutely. And action is what creates transformation. So what is the action step that you're going to give them feedback once they post?
I will respond, or
okay.
if you want to just message me, I will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to go through this amazing organizer, whichever way works, my mantra is I want to be available and make things simple. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you're listening right now, create your own affirmation based on what you want, post it in the group. And as Lillian said, she's going to be there to give you feedback and to support you. So thank you so much for joining us, and let's dive into the presentation. Thank you, Lillian.
Thank you. Hello, Launchpreneurs. I want to say welcome to this session. So a little bit about myself. I am Lillian Victoria, and I am a high performance coach and mentor. And I'm so honored to be here with you guys. So if you guys have any questions during the session, please feel free to comment below or send me a DM. Any questions you have, that I'm here to answer, and I'm here to serve. And I just want to say, time went by so fast. We're already in December. So I know it's a little early, but I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. I have to say that because it's my favorite holiday of the year. So that being said, I just want to introduce a little bit about myself so you know who I am and why I do what I do. So my name is Lillian Victoria. And before I got into personal development, before I became a coach, I was actually an entertainment executive. And I worked in this film industry for 10 plus years. That's the only thing I knew. And everything looked beautiful on the outside, right? I worked in a very glamorous business. I was travel first class, business class. I worked with a lot of A-listers. My marriage, I was married. I lived in a beautiful house in Los Angeles Hill, and then we have a beautiful baby. So everything looks great on the outside, but on the inside, I had no foundation because I built a life based on what other people want. So this session, what I'm going to cover with you guys today is becoming yourself. Right? During this Launchpreneur whole week event, we're hearing a lot of strategies, and strategies are great. They're proven, right? There's so many strategies out there. But then I want to tie it back to you, to mindset, why you're here, what your calling is, and what your purpose is, right? So my mentor says this. My mentor is Bob Proctor, 95% mindset and 5% strategy. Why is it in every industry, there are people that take on the strategy, right? The same people take it on. Some people, they do very well, and some people, they just can't. Why is that, right? Everything goes in your mind. Do you believe in yourself or not? That's what we're going to cover. So before we go into this, I want you guys to take a pen and paper right now. Okay. And I want you guys to take a piece of paper. I want you guys to write out health, wealth, and happiness. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Health, wealth, and happiness. Okay. And I want you to write down where you're at right now and where you're heading towards, where you want to go. What is that ideal health, wealth, and happiness to you? Okay. So I'm going to give you guys about 3 minutes. And I want you guys to think about it and write it down. The reason why it's so important is because you want to know where you're at and you want to know where you're going towards. And once we know where we're at and where we're going, we have a very clear direction where we want our life to be. And now this is where you can see that gap. Okay, so I'm going to play a little bit of music. I want you guys to write that down, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes.
The Civil War in Yemen has caused so much pain. In order to survive,
Let's see. And for those that are coming in right now, take out a piece of paper and write down health, wealth, and happiness. Where you're at right now and where you want to be. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys about 1 more minute, and then we're going to move on. Okay. Okay, so for those who couldn't finish it, continue to finish it after this session, but we're gonna move on right now. So that is a very simple exercise, but what you have just done is you just spend some time thinking about what you want. And I'm telling you, this is very important because our mind operates in mental images, right? When I say, when I ask you what color is your car, right? My car is black. I think about a black car. I see a black car, right? So one thing is us and humans, most of us, study has shown 80% of the population in the world, we operate from fear. But that is a normal human programming. That goes all the way to the caveman days. Okay, so the key here is to move from fear and go into faith. We want to go from uncertainty into certainty. Okay, so in this session, I'm going to really cover all of this. So take a pen and paper, and I want you guys to take notes. And again, any questions you guys have, comment below, DM me. I am here. The whole goal for this session is to get you guys set up for success and applying whichever strategy that's going to work for you. But we want to come from the soul. Right? Coming from the soul is very important. So the first thing I want to cover with you guys is there are 5 keys to freedom. Okay, there are 5 keys. One is we must create that shift. Like I said earlier, from fear to faith, from uncertainty to certainty. Okay, so that's where we want to be coming in from. And that is my goal with this session. Number 2, we need to be very clear with your vision. Right now is the perfect timing. We're ending 2021. Remember, our mind operates in mental images. So it is very, very important for you to be very clear with what you want in your life. And I'm talking about personal and professional, right? We're talking about the whole thing, okay? And then third is awareness to vision. Because once you have all this, you have the awareness. When you have the awareness of where we're at and where we're heading, that's when we're going to close the gap. And that's what we did in the first exercise. Awareness is key. Once you have the awareness, you're understanding your programming, and that's when we start to change. Okay. The fourth is actions and habits. We are creatures of habits. Yeah. I have my habit and you have your habit, right? Being disciplined is a habit. Snoozing your alarm is a habit. We all have different habits, but we must change those to get the results that we want. And then the most important thing is the people. Who are you spending your time with? This is very important because when I start to change, the first thing I did was surround myself with whole new people. That is in alignment. Notice I use the word alignment with my vision in my life, because that is what I'm building every single day. Okay, so for the purpose of this session, I'm really going to highlight the shift in the vision, right? So let's talk about the shift. I'm going to break this down into science. Have you guys seen this before, the stick figure? Okay, so those that have, listen to this, because repetition is key. We're reconditioning our mind. Knowledge is always power. And for those that are new, I want you to pay very, very close attention. Okay, this is the stick figure that brought order to the mind. So you understand how the science works. And notice this is the body. I'm sorry, this is the body. This is the mind. Notice the mind is bigger than the body. Why is that? Because the mind is our human programming, right? So this is a see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. That's our five senses. That's what we see from the news when we go outside, when we hear people tell us something, right? So COVID, this is the news I am taking in from the outside world. This is my conscious mind, and this is my subconscious mind. The conscious mind has the ability to reject and accept ideas. It's our intellect mind. And we all have this thing called the mental faculty in here. Okay, so the one mental faculty I'm going to highlight today is imagination. Okay, and you're going to hear me talk about it throughout the session, right? So without the awareness of how our mind works, when we take all these news, it goes straight into your subconscious mind. But once you understand your mental faculty, now we are in control. And I'm here because I want you guys to be able to create your own economy in your own life. Okay? And 96 to 98% of what we do come out from your subconscious mind, the result. This is your belief. This is your feeling. This is your self-image, how you see yourself, even your net worth. It's all in your subconscious mind. So the goal here is to make sure that everything that we want and faith is programmed into the subconscious mind. So you're probably asking me, how do I do that? Well, first off is we got to be very clear with what you want. Okay, so we're going to cover vision in a little bit. But before we get there, once again, to the subconscious mind, this is your belief. You start to take action and the result is going to come through. That's called the cause and effect, right? The cause is the thinking. I know this belongs to me, so I'm going to take action, and it is. Versus, I'm not sure if this is for me, I take action, and it's not. Very, very simple science, right? And now earlier I talked about certainty and uncertainty, and why is that so important? Let me get this focused. Camera, please. 1 second. Okay, so 85% of the people in the population, right? Let's focus real quickly. Okay, well, it'll get focused. Okay, 85% of the population are programmed to think about the worst case scenario. Yeah, have you been there? Because I know I've been there. I would have these big ideas and then requires risk taking. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, what if this doesn't happen? What if that doesn't happen? What happens? I retreat, I go back into my comfort zone and nothing gets done, right? So what happens is when I'm operating from the worst case scenario is because I'm operating from fear, the fear of the uncertainty. And when I'm operating from that place, making decisions from that, I have fear, I have anxiety, I have panics. And then what happens is it turns into cancer. My whole body is in disease, right? I've been there. You know, a little bit about me, how I made that transition was when I was an entertainment executive, when I was running companies, when I was having people answering me and always traveling, I was always panicking because I was working so hard. I was working so hard with something that I wasn't sure if this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life because I didn't have that purpose inside me. So what happened? I went to therapy for a long time, right? And then the thing is, when I was in therapy, I was talking about all my problems. I'm not saying therapy is not good. Everyone is very different in their life. But at that time, I was talking too much about my past. After a certain amount of time, I needed to move forward, right? And when I was talking about my past, and if anything that I want to share with you that I've learned is whatever we put our energy in is that's what's going to manifest into physical form. That is what we are going to be seeing. So when I'm talking about the past, the problems, the fear, that's what I'm seeing, right? And now you're in the fear of unknown, and that's when my whole body starts to break down. And that's when my therapist gave me all the pills to take. But that really didn't help me move forward. What helped me move forward was I got into this place of certainty. And how do I do that? Is I got very clear with what I want, right? So everything I want you guys to think about in this session, and even today, is what do you want? Now, 15% of the population think in the best case scenario. And that's where I want us to shift in. Think about only the best case scenario, because whatever you think in and believe in, that is what's going to come through. And this is a really big shift, because I'm talking about all of your thinking that is invisible that I cannot see, right? So I want you to think about everything that you want and all the reasons why it's meant for you. That is abundance. We want to go from the lack mindset to the abundance mindset. Okay. And once we start to get crystallized on that, which are going to require one mental faculty that I mentioned earlier, which is imagination. Okay. Once you use your imagination, you stay relaxed, think about everything that you want, your purpose in life, right? Now, confidence comes in, faith comes in, love comes in, momentum comes in. Now you are in the state of growing and creation, right? Have you seen people at 80 years old? There's really two kinds of people. One, they're alive. They're living every single day. They're busy. They're doing something. They're happy. And then you have those people that are just waiting to die, right? If we're not growing, we're dying. There's really no in between. So where we're at today, I want us to get into the creative mindset, the growth mindset, knowing that there is abundance and understanding that you are already perfectly created. You don't need to ask anyone for permission. You need to validate yourself and know whatever you're doing right now is your calling. But you always want to tie it back to what you want. When I started the session, I said 95% mindset, 5% strategy. Right? There's abundant strategy, but I want you to get into the mind that you are already set up for success. And this is everything that you want to do. With the spirit and with this energy, as you apply those strategy, that's when the results will come back tenfold. But you have to believe. And here's the thing too, one of the first sign, right? One of the first sign when you see people or even yourself, right, thinking in the worst case scenario, is when you have these internal thoughts, I'm not good enough. I don't know if I could do it. You start to compare yourself with other people. Now we're trading. You give me this, I give you that. We're not operating from the abundance, right? When you're always thinking about the best case scenario, you're a giver. You're a giver and you're a receiver, right? I am good enough. There is plenty. What happens to your energy? You feel good. You feel free, right? We want to be operating in the giving and the receiving and being open to all the possibilities and all the opportunities that is in front of you. But to do that, we got to get very clear with your vision. So before we do that, I actually want to play a short video. This is only 3 minutes, but this is really going to help you understand this other thing that we have called perception. It's also one of our mental faculties. So here's why it's so important, right? As we make those shifts, understand that we, and all human beings, we live in the same world, but we also live in different worlds, because it is our perception that creates our reality. Our perception that creates our reality. So in COVID, right? That's a really, really good example. When COVID happened, a lot of people saw it as death, as the economy is not good, and all these bad things that could happen. But then there are a handful of people saw this abundant opportunity. Opportunity is everywhere. So what happens? They start to create. And it's the same thing in the same time period, but we are changing our perception, right? So I just want to play this real fast, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about vision. So let me just make sure that I got this. Share screen.
The way you look at things, the things you look at change. Albert Einstein once observed that the most fundamental and major decision that you have to make in your life is this: do I live in a friendly or a hostile universe? Which is it? Is it a universe that is filled with hostility and anger and people wanting to hate each other and people wanting to kill each other? Is that what you see? Because when you see the world that way, that's exactly what you will create for yourself in your life. Now, you might say to yourself, how can I feel good when so much around me is bad? And I want to offer this to you as a very important and powerful piece of advice. You cannot get sick enough to heal one person on this planet. And you cannot get poor enough to make one person wealthy on this planet. No amount of your feeling bad. When you say feeling bad, what you do is you create something called resistance. I can't do this. It's not possible. I don't deserve it. And when you create this kind of resistance, you have emotions. And these emotions become sadness, fear, worry, anxiety. And what I'd like to offer you is a way for you to use these emotions that you are experiencing at any time in your life and use them as a system to say to yourself, what kinds of thoughts am I having that are keeping me from being in rapport with this field of intention? What kind of self-talk do we have? If you think about what is missing in your life, and you talk to other people about what is missing in your life, don't be surprised if you keep attracting what's missing into your life. If you think about what always has been, then don't be surprised if what always has been is what keeps showing up in your life. Because thoughts are energy, and the thought of it's always been this way and there's nothing I can do, resistance. What emotion am I feeling? Frustration. I want to change that. What is my guidance system? I'm going to see how in harmony am I with the energy of intention. How in harmony with it am I? When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all of your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new and a great and a wonderful world. Dormant forces, like forces that you didn't think were accessible to you, dormant forces, faculties, and talents come alive. And you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. When you are inspired, when you are in spirit. When you're in spirit, you are creating. When you are creating, everything is working. Abraham Maslow once said, the difference between self-actualizing people, the highest functioning people, and everybody else is that self-actualizing people must be what they can be. Self-actualizing people must be what they can be. What can you be? What can you be?
Now that is powerful. Self-actualizing people can be what you are meant to be. So what are you going to be, right? That is the question. That's the I can't talk. The $1 million question. You know, what is your purpose, right? So I talked about earlier, I went to therapy. I talk about all my problems, and that's the only thing I see because I was giving it so much energy. I don't go to therapy anymore. I have healed my mind by healing myself, by looking at all the possibilities and everything that I am creating in my life. And it is when I lost everything. So I went through a divorce. I went through losing my house, losing the company, hitting my version of rock bottom, and embarking my path to new single mom. And that's when I hit the fear. That's when the uncertainty came in. That's when I literally was scared to death. because I was raised by a mother with government support, and I didn't want to be there. And the thing is, remember, we operated mental images. That was the only thing I was thinking. And that got me into depression. But then the shift came to me when I was like, first of all, I am not my mother. I started to see myself, living in this beautiful house with the beautiful family. Even though I was going through a divorce at the time, it felt very, very impossible. And I was like, no, that's not my life. This is my life. My old belief was I'm 35, I'm too old. I can't go back to business school. I don't know what to do, to shift. This is just the beginning, right? I'm not 35 anymore, I'm 38 now. But that was a very pivotal change in my life because I have made that shift, right? Once I made that shift, I understand there is abundance in whatever that I am emotionally involved with, meaning what I'm thinking about every day, what I believe every day, that is what I'm going to take action to create. And thoughts are things. I'm going to repeat that one more time, write it down. Thoughts are things. Okay. Your results are created by this thing called a paradigm, your paradigm. Paradigm is a multitude of habit and thinking and beliefs. I have a different paradigm than yours. I eat spicy food. I have my beliefs. I have my perception and my reality, right? So the one thing I want to ask you guys too after this video is, are you living in a friendly universe or a hostile universe? This is very important because if you're in a hostile, I want you guys to make those shifts. And it's okay to ask for help because I needed help. I lived 35 years in this hostile environment, even though I looked like I had everything, but it was all in my mind because I didn't make that shift. I didn't understand the difference between lack and abundance. And that's where I want to share with you, because once I open up and make the shift into the abundance, I start to get clearer with my vision. Okay. So let me share with you right now. Let me just get this out. Let me share with you right now my vision. When I say my vision, literally, like, let's break down vision. Okay, so here we go. So vision, right? Value-based. What do you want to do? What is a non-negotiables in your life? For me, it's family. Family is number one. Everything that I am creating in my life is to be able to spend time with my family, doing something purposeful, right? Another thing for my son, when I was at that moment, when I felt like I lost everything, I don't know what to do, and I was scared, I was scared because I didn't want to be like my mother. She was emotionally and physically unavailable. I love her because she did with the most that she can, right? And in her way of loving. But that's not what I want to be. I want to be present. I want my son to know that he is loved by everyone. I want him to grow up to be a very confident person. And I didn't want to work in a business where I'm like always traveling, always. And being away from family, because if anything I've learned today is I could earn more money, but when time is gone, I can't buy back time. I cannot buy back time, right? And then the next thing is be illogical. Okay, so logic is one thing. Everyone has different logic. Your logic is based on your experience and what you know. When I'm asking you to think illogical is I want you to think big. I don't want you to talk yourself out. And get this. The how is none of your business. The how is none of your business. You just need to know what you want. So don't be logical. Nothing makes sense. That's what I tell myself. Nothing makes sense. And it doesn't have to, because it's what I want. Okay. And I want you to be very specific. What does that mean? Be very specific. The lifestyle. How many times do you want to be traveling? How do you want to be living with your family? Right? What kind of person? How do you want to be showing up? What kind of car do you want to be driving? What kind of house? Right? For me, the first step for me to get to my life of freedom and creation was to be able to buy a house. Remember, When I lost everything, there was one whole year that I was couch surfing at a friend's place. I'm at this person's place for 2-3 months, that person's place, and I have a kid. So having a house to me was very, very important. And I'm very specific. I want a big house. I want a house in a good school district. I want a house with a pool because I want a house where my son's going to grow up, where he has stability and he has home and he has love. And I was able to take all these into action and miss all the chaos and buy a house within 2 years. Okay. So remember, I have lost everything. I have to rebuild back up. And I'm telling you, anything is possible if you put your mind into it. Right. And another thing that is very important. When I was at my friend's place, there was one time where literally I was like sleeping on her couch and my son was there and I was having a very, very tough time. And I was crying. I can't stop because I didn't know what to do. And I was trying to figure out my life out. And then my son looked at me. He's like, Mommy, is everything okay? Is everything going to be okay? And I looked at him and I was like, you know what? Everything's going to be fine. Mommy just fell, but I'm going to get back up. Right. And that was the moment that not only created a shift in my life, but I made a decision. I made a decision that I'm going to rise even higher. And that is my inspiration and that is my obsession. You want to do something that you want to do, okay? That it's so big that scares you and excites you, but inspires you. And you want to create this obsession. When Napoleon Hills call it a burning desire. My burning desire is my son and everyone around me. And I ask myself this every single day. How would my friends and family benefit when Lillian is at her place achieving my goal? And the answer is, it's amazing. I'm able to take care of me, the people around me. I would love to give and receive abundantly. And now how does that feel for you? Right? And then it has to be noticeable. The change has to be noticeable, meaning we want to start to take action right now. You're going to feel that shift. All of that is going to come in you. But that's what I mean by vision. So you want something that is you, that is non-negotiable, that you want in your life. And ask yourself these questions. If today is your last day, how do you want to be remembered by? Big questions, which is going to require you to think. And I want you to think so big that it's illogical, right? My vision board is so big, but that in my life, that is my reality. It used to be illogical, but now it's perfectly logical because I have reasoned myself into it. Reasoning is also one of our mental faculties. If you know how to use it, we want to use it to get to the place of where we want. I'm very specific with what I want. The house I want to live, the people I want to surround myself with, how I want to be building my business, how I want to be making impact, and how I am doing it every step of the way. I am inspired. I am obsessed every day. Okay. I wake up in the morning, I write down what I want in my life, and I take action. And I'm not afraid of going through different experiences and mistakes. Notice I said experiences. Right? A mistake is an experience because I know that the more mistakes I learn, the more that I grow. It's a part of the process. In an experience, you're going to have wins and you're going to have a lot of growth. To grow into my big goal, okay? Goal is there for you to grow into. I feel good. I feel great. And then when I start to change and I show up as a whole different person, is very, very noticeable. Even my friends tell me, you're different now. I have a girlfriend. When I started my journey, right, I had to leave for a little bit, not because I don't love her to death, but I got to work on myself because I know to get these results and these achievements, I have to work on myself. It is an internal growth. You know, I started the session saying that I had this beautiful life, but I didn't have a foundation. And when I realized what my purpose and my vision is, that is a foundation. And that was a lot of internal work I got to work on. And I'm working on it, and I'm still working on it. So my vision in my life is to create positive, transformative impact to a billion people around the world through speaking, coaching, IP, intellectual property, and media. So that's what I'm doing every single day, because I want to share everything that I've learned with you guys, right? So now we've covered the shift. Now we've covered the vision. So I want you guys to take all of this in, before we go into the strategy, which you're going to have tons of amazing strategy from different amazing people in this launch in this week. I want you to take a step back and look at you. Who am I? I am what? Right? Write them down in the most positive, empowering way. I want you to take some time to think about your vision. Right now is the best time because we are going into holidays. It's the time for you to relax, to think about the life that you want, the businesses. How are you helping people? How are you solving people's solution? How are you coming up? And then this beautiful life that you're creating, right? And start to take massive action. Okay. And then the last thing before I end up this session is we talked about goals, right? You have to have the vision, and when the vision, that's goal. That's setting up your goal. I really want you to think big. So there's 3 types of goals. There's an A, B, and C type goal. A type goal is the ones that we've all done before. Let's say you drive a Accord. You want to buy a new Accord, right? It's something that you've done, not much inspiration because you already know how to do it, right? The B type goal has a little bit of stretch, and we see it a lot in the business owners, right? The B type goal is, hey, let's do 15-20% more in revenue this month, or 30%, right? So there's a little bit of a stretch, right? But here's the deal. The secret is a C type goal. Is a goal that is so big that scares you and excites you all at the same time. Scares you and excites you. It's very important. So if your goal is not scaring you and exciting you, then I'm going to challenge you to think bigger, because the goal is for us to grow into. I have a goal card. I write my goal on it every day. Well, it's written on it. I look at it every day. So when I wake up, let me stop sharing this. When I wake up, I'm driven by this goal every single day. And by law, what's going on is I'm sending this information out to the universe. And I don't have to go look for it. It's going to come look for me, but I got to start taking action. And the way I start to take action is I know what I want. I know what I'm heading towards. And I'm going to take a lot of action every single day to grow into that goal. So that being said, thank you so much. This is Lillian Victoria, founder of Awesomest Lifestyle. And I want you to know you have it all and the time is yours now. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and reach out to me, DM me, friend me. I am here and I'm here to support you. And again, have a great rest of December and happy holidays. It's been my pleasure to be here with you guys. Love you. Bye.